thankful for? And I mean, really honestly, I think sometimes we say I'm thankful, and we don't really think about what that means. And it goes back to what we did last night at our house. Is this going to do this advice? If it is, I'm going to take this off. I know we don't know that yet. See me take it off, that's why. We sat around last night before we ate, and just said something that we're thankful for. And then somebody brought that up, maybe Christy this morning, somebody brought that up, that was a really cool thing to do. And it's and I already thought about asking everybody here, would anybody just like to stand up and tell me what you're thankful for? I mean, in all honesty. And if the lights are being off bother you, let me know, we'll turn the lights back on, no problem. But anybody, what are you thankful for? Yes, sir.
New beginning.
Good.
New beginning, new town, new friends, new church.
Good.
It's scary at times, but makes you want to turn and walk away and run or something.
Hey, just tell me something thankful for everybody. Oh, go ahead.
Everybody here.
Okay. Everybody, what do you think this man?
I'm thankful for having us taken care of my family over the last few years. We've had a lot of health issues, and he's really pulled us through some bad ones.
Awesome. Anybody else, what are you thankful for? Yes, ma'am.
I'm thankful for my salvation. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for you.
Well, thank you very much. Anybody else, what are you thankful for? There's a point to all this. Yes, sir.
Thank you for family and the mom and dad and
How old are you?
13.
I don't want to hear nobody else say that they can't stand up in church and talk. Tell me something you're thankful for.
Brother Rodney, I'm thankful for my salvation. I'm thankful that God never gave up on me. And I finally opened my eyes and realized that He was talking to me with coincidences. And I'm thankful for this church and all their prayers. And I'm thankful for a loving Christian family.
Awesome. We have Darby outside your hand.
Yeah, Brother Rodney, I'm thankful for everything that everybody else has mentioned as well, but I'm also thankful for the bad times and the hard times and the struggles and all the rough spots that we've ever been through in our lives, particularly me, because those are the moments that give value to the good times, or that let you know how good you really have it. And we're all pretty blessed. I know I am.
Anybody else?
I'm thankful for small towns to be back home because there's lots of blessings here to be able to go to places and recognize people, to sit in church with lots of familiar faces and people that I have history with, as opposed to being away for the last 5 years and while they were figuring out here, I was pretty much so.
Anybody else? What do you think? Yes, ma'am.
I'm thankful that after 8 years of needing to go to my previous church, I finally found a church home where I feel comfortable and like I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Awesome. Yeah, we wait till the 10-year mark to get I am so sorry I even said that. Anybody else? I don't want to make life of you. I know what you went through. Anybody else?
I'm thankful for my marriage.
Amen. Amen. You're the only person that said that so far. Why didn't I say that? So yes, ma'am. You better say you're thankful for your marriage, okay?
I'm thankful for, like some of the others have said, my salvation first and foremost, but I am thankful for a Christian husband. And he was a lost starfish for a long time. So I'm thankful that he finally recognized that he needed God in his life. I'm thankful for my Christian children and that they're here because I know so many women have to come to church alone because they don't have a Christian husband or Christian families. And so I am thankful for that.
Anybody else? Something thankful. Did anybody opportunity? Yes, ma'am.
I'm thankful for everything that everybody else has mentioned, like Darby was saying, the bad times. I'm just thankful that I have hope now, that I know it's going to pass me, it's going to guide me through, and I'm just thankful for everything that He's blessed me with.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm thankful, like everybody else said, for God never giving up on me, and for the man sitting out in the hallway who always sits out there that never gets to sit in here with us. He never gave up on me. We've been together for over 31 years, and he loves me unconditionally, and it's rare that in this day and time that you can find a man that loves you unconditionally and sticks by you no matter what. But I'm really thankful for my daddy, and he's been gone for over 6 years. And once you also have your daddies, please don't take them for granted. But my daddy worked third shift my whole life, as some of you know. But my daddy was my biggest fan. And he would work out on Saturday mornings after working all night long, and stay up all day Saturdays and do things with me because I was his baby girl. And I'm so thankful that I had a loving daddy. And so, guys, don't ever take him for granted because you only have one.
Anybody? Yes, sir.
Brother Rodney, like everyone else in here, I have a list of facts that long this building is called in life. But one of the things I like to thank God for the most is opportunity. Right after you all moved into the community center, I had the opportunity to come to church with you all. And it's been a blessing in my life ever since. You never know how much in life it means to walk into a place and see people that you've seen from all aspects of your life. And this church has given the opportunity. Every week I come in here, I run into somebody either new that I just get to meet for the first time, or I run into someone else that's been in my life for another time. Just opportunities to enjoy time with those people, enjoy time with God, and opportunity to I also want to thank everyone for Pastor Group, and from every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning, whether it be at 3 a.m. or 6 a.m. The message of enlightenment that I get each morning on a text message.
All that, bing. How many of y'all get that at 3 o'clock in the morning? Bing. And how many of you love it at like 6:30 in the morning, but hate it at 3:30 in the morning? Anybody else want to give anybody the opportunity? Yes, ma'am.
I'm just thankful for a church that welcomes. I felt like a lot of churches aren't as welcoming here, and being a young family trying to find a place. It's been nice.
Thank you for being here. That is a big deal. Yes, ma'am.
I'm thankful for the heart that God gave me to the ability to see kids and see where they're going. I appreciate and I'm thankful for where I see our children going from here, the way that we're building them up and where our church needs to go from here. There's so many kids who get turned away and kids who all the time feel that they're inadequate or that they're not good enough. And a lot of times we don't even see it. And I'm thankful that God gives me that ability as a school teacher to reach out to those kids because you'd be surprised a lot of times. And, we all need to be a little bit more thankful and willing to help those and, look over the things that you think that matter because, whether it's giving them the ability or a chance to sing one day or to play an instrument or an extra plate of food or whatever it might be, they may need that. And we don't need to turn them away or shut them out. We need to give them that chance to blossom. And I'm just thankful that God gave me that heart to do that.
Anybody? Yes, ma'am.
I'm very thankful. I prayed to the Lord for many years to give Nikki a special person in her life. And He did answer my prayers. She had 20 good years with this gentleman. And he loved her to the most, and she did him. But I'm also thankful that she has you all, that she can count on and feel comfortable and at home with. That means so much to my heart, and I know it will her. That's just all I want to say. I think you all will be a great family for her. Thank you.
I'm thankful for that little boy right there.
Amen.
He has one of the single, most genuine hearts of anybody I've ever seen. Amen. Yes, ma'am.
I want to thank the whole congregation, the Lord, and I want to thank him special for getting her here today.
Amen. Yes, ma'am.
I'm thankful for God's direction and then His redirection, because there's seasons in our lives of what we're supposed to be doing. And being able to find that for the time that He has for us, and being able to listen to what that is and get out of our own head, I'm very thankful for that.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to add, I'm thankful for the struggles that he's put me through, because it's one of my favorite.
I'm thankful that I got God in my life, and I'm so thankful for my mother right now. I'll be honest, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her and Jane. I went last Sunday to take my life to go be with Jane. When I got to Mom's back door, I was going to my house to do it. When I got to Mom's back door, I know Jane stopped me because I couldn't go out the door. I am so thankful to have this church. And I thank God every day that He put Gene in my life for 20 years. And I know where he's at. Gene loved God, he believed. And I thank you all so much for being there for me.
I'm thankful that we don't have to be like any other church. And I don't mean that against any other church, but I just don't fit well. And because I feel like that the most important thing that we'll do today is what we're doing right now. And the whole point of today is, I'm not going to be here next week. Of course, I'll be with our son, but I will be away. And I just wanted to talk about two different things: Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving. And it's a big difference. And I want you to think about that for a second. That is a huge difference. And so many of us in this room, we will say, oh, I'm thankful, I'm thankful, I'm thankful. But do our lives actually mirror what we say? You see, that's the most important thing we'll ever do. Now, I was going to, I don't really know what I was going to do today, but I feel like that the Lord is directing me to Luke chapter 18. I want you to please turn there. I'm going to talk about some different people today, I think, that, and I want you to tell me what you think they are thankful for, okay? Now, these are all stories that I love, stories that you've heard, but I don't know if you've ever thought of them in the light of Thanksgiving. So, I want you to look at Luke chapter 18, and let's go to verse 9. Luke chapter 18, verse 9. So, if you got your Bible, turn to there. Luke chapter 18, verse 9. Just a second. Luke chapter 18, verse 9. Okay, the Bible says, to some who were confident of their own righteousness and looked down on everybody else, Jesus told this parable. Two men went up to the temple to pray. One a Pharisee and the other a tax collector. The Pharisee stood up and prayed about himself, God, I thank you that I'm not like other men, robbers, evildoers, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week, and I give a tenth of all I get. But the tax collector stood at a distance, and he could not even look up to heaven. But he beat his breast, and he said, God, have mercy on me, a sinner. And I tell you that this man, rather than the other, went home justified before God. For everyone who exalts himself shall be humbled, and everyone who humbles himself shall be exalted. So let me ask you this. You see the picture here of two different types of people today. And I want you to realize that even in this room right now, there may be those two different types of people. And maybe you never have thought of yourself as being more along the lines of the Pharisee or the tax collector, either one. But I want you to realize that there are those two types of people even in this room today. Okay? There are those that are wrapped up in themselves, and you may or you may not think that you are, but let me tell you something. I don't have my wallet with me, but I'm going to tell you right now, I have as much money in this front pocket as I do in my wallet, which would be none. My value will never be defined by any possession that I have. I want you to say that with me. My value should not be defined by any of my possessions. Now guys, if that is not a true statement, then I don't know what is. What gives you value is you. You know, you said something that was beautiful. You said, I'm so thankful I have a young family and we feel welcome to be here. And you know, I want you to think about something. Sometimes when young families or even old families come in, older families, come in, you know, we get to worrying about things like, what do I wear? Or you know, what if my baby acts up? Who cares? If your child acts up, guess what they are being? A child. Guess how a child is supposed to act? Like a, say it with me, child. Okay? How many times, now let me tell you something, my mama was here, Jenny can attest to this. When I was young, I was old enough to know better. Now that's a different story, but I'll never forget sitting on the row of a church and Jenny and I would be picking at each other, fighting with one another, and my mother would grab a hold of the skin on my forearm, right? Anybody ever had that experience? Has anybody ever seen all of your skin wrapped around your mother's fingers? My mother would do that so tight I didn't even have enough skin left to blink my eyes. I am telling you, it's just like, if she would grit her teeth, she would say, you better straighten up. Jenny, am I saying the truth? My mother would be so mad at me right now, okay? But you know, it's those kind of things that I am very, very thankful for. I have nothing that is of value to me. I have a home. I'm going to say it again. I don't have a house. I have a home. You don't know what that means? There have been countless kids running up and down the hallways, breaking things, messing things up. I mean, tearing things completely apart. I have got doors that I have punched holes through, Katie. I have got all the whole different subject there, okay? But it's still there, and I am thankful for that. I'm not thankful for that door, but I am thankful that I have a home, not a house. This gentleman, one of them said, he said, oh God, I thank you for everything that I have. I thank you for who I am. You see, I am grateful that I am me. You know what I'm thankful for? I am His. Seriously. I am grateful for that. Okay? So, in this story, we see a person of someone who is thankful for hope. Listen to what this man says. God, forgive me, a sinner. You see, he recognized hope. Guys, listen to me. I don't know who you are in this room today or what's going on in your life, but if you can do this, you have hope. You have hope. This gentleman is a picture of hope. Somebody shared today that they were thankful for hope. I don't remember who it was. But somebody said they were thankful for hope. You know, some days are bad, aren't they? Some days you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Sometimes it seems like that there's absolutely zero way out. Or you feel like that the only way out is to take your own life. Did you hear what she said? Let me give you a little background. She lost her husband of 20 years and didn't want to go on. And had planned to take her life. But God intervened. And you know what happened to her? She has hope. Friends, I'm thankful for hope in this room today. Second thing it says, look at verse 15. People were also bringing babies to Jesus to have him touch them. And when the disciples saw this, they rebuked people. But Jesus called the children to him, and he said this, "Let the little children come unto me, and do not hinder them. For I tell you the truth, that these belong to the kingdom of God. Anyone who hears, or anyone who will not receive the kingdom of God as a little child will never enter it." I'm going to give you a picture of two different things here, okay? We have children here. And you know, the funny thing about kids, and we talk about this on Sunday mornings, we have a band practice before everybody gets here, and all of the children that happen to come here, they all gather right here. While we're up there practicing, they're all right here and they're singing songs with us. They're enjoying it. I always call them our groupies. That is. Oh, it's a shame we don't have electricians in here. That's just a shame. But you see, I want you to think about this. How many times do we come in? Maybe this is you today. You've come in this room today. Okay? You're at church because this is the appointed hour. This is the appointed time for you to be here. And maybe you had a bad day yesterday, or maybe you've had a bad month, or maybe you've had just some bad experiences in your life, and you know, you're going through the motions today. These little children came to Jesus, and they were just excited about being in the presence of Jesus. Now I want you to think about that. We've got people that are thank-filled here, and because people are thank-filled, that's called thankful, okay, then they are living filled with that thanksgiving. So I want you to think the difference between thanksgiving and thanks living. Do you live thankful? Do you live thankful? Now I want you to think about it. I'm very thankful that I got to see Blake this morning. Really am. Blake, I'm always proud of you, Pastor, okay? Because you have such a beautiful heart. But I was thankful that I got to see him get up. You want to know why he got up? Anybody want to guess why he got up? Because he heard someone cry. Now, I don't mean to kick anybody. How many of y'all heard Mickey cry? How many did that? You see, that's the picture that we were seeing with these little children. Jesus said, the kingdom of God belongs to such as these. There is no rule that says when she cries, if you're in the farthest seat over there, you can't get up and come over here. There is no rule. Thanks living brings that out of us. To be thankful. And Blake is here today. Blake Coots is here today. And I don't know if any of y'all remember Blake Coots, but Blake Coots and I go back many, many, many years. And I am so thankful to have him here today. I can tell you stories after story after story of things that I have seen Blake do. But the problem is, Blake can tell you story after story after story of things that he's seen me do. So I'm just going to say, I'm thankful you're here.
Good to see you, Rodney.
Let's go see you.
I think we need to meet with Blake.
You see, these children exhibited what we need to exhibit. Thanks, Lord. And guys, it's easy. Every one of us in this room, we can get excited, we can laugh, we can joke, we can cut up, we can do all of those things. And then tomorrow is Monday. Guess what tomorrow is?
Monday.
Work. I have to deal with coal mines. But guess what that does? It takes care of my family. How many of us can be thankful for that job? And we're thankful for our jobs, even if our jobs are difficult. open heart. But how many of us can live like that? Live thankful. Instead of just being thanksgiving, be thanks living. You see, that's the picture that we see. These children were just happy. They were just living their thankfulness. Jesus welcomed them. And I want you to understand, if you are in here today, that very same Jesus, He's welcoming you. You have that opportunity to come to Him unhindered. It doesn't matter how you messed up or what you've done, or if you're better than somebody else in somebody else's mind, or you're worse than somebody else in someone else's mind. It doesn't matter. What matters is this: Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you. And I'm going to tell you something else. It took me a long time to figure this out. People don't love me all the time, but Jesus does. No, I don't think you understand what I'm trying to get at here. If you've ever been beaten down by the world or been beaten down by whatever, and it seems like that people don't like you or people whatever, I have gotten past all of that. You want to know something? When I sing for an audience of one. I close my eyes. Let me tell you something. I don't care about it. If you don't want to raise your hand, don't you raise your hand. But I'll never know it. Because I'm not here for you. I am here because Jesus said, "Suffer the little children should come unto me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of God belongs to such as these." You see, I was that kid. I was that broken down guy that nobody wanted. I was a drug addict. I was in alcohol. I was a bad person. Your own eyes, maybe I wasn't, but I knew who I was on the inside. But yet Jesus held His arms open, and I came on in. And I am thankful for that. And it should prompt me to thanks living. Keep on going. It says a certain ruler, verse 18, a certain ruler asked Him, "Good teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" Now, mind you, isn't this like the question? I mean, seriously. If you think that you're here because I'm a self-help guru, you're wrong. I'm going to point you to Jesus. All right? Because at the end of the day, life may be horrible for you. Your life may be tough. You may, every time somebody else grabs a rose, you may get the thorns. Now, I'm just going to be honest with you. Ain't nobody ever promised that life was going to be easy. But God promised eternal life could be yours and could be mine. And guess what? In heaven, there are no thorns. Nothing but roses. A certain rich ruler asked Him, "Good teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" And Jesus said, "Why do you call me good? No one is good except for God alone. You know the commandments. Do not commit adultery. Do not murder. Do not steal. Do not give false testimony. And honor your father and mother." Oh, and this guy, you see, he started checking those off. Okay, well, I've not done this. I've not done this. Well, it's a kind of a gray area. I might have done, but I'm going to say that I haven't done that. But hey, 4 out of 5 is not bad. You see, he looked at these things like a checklist. And you know what he did? He said, "I am better than you. I'm better than those people." Now guys, let me tell you something. Jesus simply broke into that and He said, "No, you're not. If you think I'm a good teacher, I'm telling you right now, no one is good except for my Father alone." And all of these, He said in verse 21, "I have kept since I was a boy." And when Jesus heard this, He said, "Well, still you lack one thing. Sell everything that you have and give it to the poor, and then you will have treasure in heaven. Then come and follow me." And when He had heard this, He became very sad because he was a man of great wealth. Now, why do you think He became very sad? I mean, look, hang on a second. Wait a minute. You go to a doctor and you say, I'm having this major issue. And the doctor says, "Oh, okay. Here's what you do about this major issue. You start exercising. You go on a diet. You get rid of alcohol. You get rid of tobacco. You get rid of any caffeine. You no longer drink Red Bull. You do all of these things and you can be healthy once again." Shouldn't I just turn the cartwheel and jump for joy? It was awful quiet here right now. I mean, shouldn't I? Isn't that what I'm going for? What I'm going for is to say, But this man was sad. You want to know why he was sad? Because he wasn't serious. I'm thankful that, listen to me please, do not overlook this. I am thankful that when God broke my heart, and you all know the time I'm talking about, because you've had that time too if you're a child of God, when God finally got through and He broke down, you know what He told me? The exact same things. You've got to quit living for this, you've got to quit living for that, you've got to let all of that stuff go, you've got to count it as absolutely nothing and follow me. And I am so glad and I am so thankful that in my life there was a time, and it was 20 plus years ago, in my life when those things that Jesus valued were of greater value than those things that I valued. And I gave my heart to Him. I didn't know I'd be a pastor. I didn't set out to be a pastor. I really actually liked being a hooligan a whole lot better. At the time I did. If you had told me, hey, you're going to spend the next 25 years of your life serving the Lord in a church, I would have run from you. That's not what I valued. But see, there was a moment, listen, maybe your moment's right now, there was a moment that God spoke through my junk. He didn't speak over it, He broke through it. And when He broke through that junk, He simply told me, listen, truth. You want to know why I know it was true? Because it set me free. And friends, if you've got some preacher up here lying to you and trying to make a good sermon all the time, and he ain't telling you the truth, you better run from him like a banshee. Because only truth is going to set you free. Some of you in this room today, you're lost. And when I say you're lost, I mean you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ. You have never come to that point in your life where you recognize that God broke through that barrier in your life. And you came to that moment in time. You came to the cross and you recognized the gruesomeness of that cross. And you realize that the gruesomeness of that cross had absolutely nothing to do with the man that was on that cross, because he did nothing to deserve it. You want to know who deserved it? Me. Every time I did something wrong and I knew I was doing something wrong, I deserved the cross. Every time I said something that was wrong, I deserved the cross. Every time I hurt somebody intentionally, I deserve the cross. Hang on. Every time I hurt somebody unintentionally, then I realized I hurt that person but chose to do nothing about it, I deserve the cross. +20 years ago, the man on the cross looked down from the cross at me and he said, "This is yours. And I'm taking it for you." The only story I've ever heard that summed up the cross was a little boy. And the little boy was a troublemaker at school. And his father was a local pastor, and the kid had rebelled against not just his father, but he had rebelled against the Father in heaven. And he kept getting into trouble and kept getting into trouble. And the principal who had gone to church with at the pastor's church was one of the deacons, and he was a good man. And he tried and tried and tried to get through to his son, but he just couldn't get through to him. And one day the pastor's son broke a rule that was beyond, it was just beyond. So he came to the principal's office, and the principal said, "I'm going to have to expel you." And the little boy, just like many in this room today, kids in this room today, are okay with being expelled. I get 3 days off. So he got on the phone and he called the pastor, who's this kid's dad, and he said, "I've got your son in the office here." And he said, "I'm going to have to expel him." And the dad said, "I'll be right there. Don't do anything. I'll be right there." And when the pastor showed up, he looked at his son sitting there in the chair with that little sheepish grin on his face like, you know how we are. And the pastor looked at the principal across the desk, and knowing that he was a good man, he asked him, he said, what is the punishment? And he said, well, I'm going to have to expel him. And he said, it's a shame. It's a shame that we still don't have the paddle. And the little boy just smiled. And let me tell you, kids in this room, you've grown up in a whole different era than I grew up in. You may not think that that would do any good. Well, you have never heard the sound of 3/4 of an inch oak hitting a pair of Levi's. I have watched, I was never a great big boy, I have watched great big boys cry. And the principal said, well, I'm not allowed to paddle people anymore. And the dad said, do you still have a paddle? And he said, yes, I do. And he said, then I want you to paddle me instead of expelling my son. And that little boy looked, and I'm sure in the back of his mind he thought, okay, yeah, okay. This will be good. This will be good. I mean, who wouldn't want to sit there and get spanked and do a whopper on the rear end one time? Huh? But the principal looked at him and he said, I can't spank students. And the dad said, I'm not a student. And I'm asking you to paddle me. I want to take the place of my son. And the deacon then understood what his father was trying to do. His father was trying to teach him a much bigger picture, and it's a picture of what we truly deserve. And with that, the principal reached into the filing cabinet and he pulled out the old paddle that has now been outlawed. And he said, well, I haven't used this in a while. And Daddy bent over and the principal whopped him once, and the daddy looked at him and he said, that's not how you're supposed to paddle me. I don't want you to hold back. And that little boy sat there and watched. And that principal reared back, and with the sound of thunder, or Greg, you'll remember this sound, the sound of air right before that dad buckled. And that principal reared back and popped him again. And that dad looked at the little boy and he said, I'm doing this for you. And he reared back and popped him the third time. And that little boy started to cry. And he stood up and he said, don't hit my dad again. He don't deserve this. You see, that's what I'm thankful for. Because 20 plus years ago, God showed up in my life, and I heard that story my whole life, brother. I heard it my whole life. I mean, my whole life. And it never made sense to me about the whole idea of Jesus and the cross and all of these things. But there was one day in my life when God showed up and He broke through all of my garbage. And when He broke through all of my garbage, I understood what that cross was for. That cross was a punishment for my sin. And it was gruesome and it was ugly. And I'm thankful that God broke through. Lastly is this. Look at verse 9, or chapter 19. Now let's go back up. Look at chapter 18, verse 35. As Jesus approached Jericho, a blind man was sitting by the roadside begging. And when he had heard the crowd going by, he asked them what is happening. And they simply said this: Jesus of Nazareth is passing by. And he called out, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Those who led the way rebuked him, and they told him to be quiet, but he shouted all the more, Son And he looked at the man that couldn't see him. And he said, open your eyes and see. And the guy could see. I'm thankful for opportunities that don't pass me by. You want to know why that opportunity didn't pass him by? Because he didn't care about the person beside him. He didn't care if it annoyed the crowd. He didn't care to be like somebody else. Because being like somebody else meant I stayed blind. He didn't want to be like the rest of the world. Oh, just keep quiet. Don't worry. Hey, you don't want to cry out to Jesus. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be a Christian. You don't want to be all. Let me tell you something. I am so thankful that when I cried out above all of the noise and junk around me, Jesus heard me. And I'm thankful for that opportunity. And I forget that from time to time. I forget that. Listen to me. I forget that. I get caught up in the junk of the world. There's a song that I don't know, I think you sang before, but thank you, Lord, for your blessing on me. I've got food on my table, and I've got shoes on my feet. All of the things that I'm promising you, you might say you are thankful for those things. That might truly be a sentence that pops out of your mouth. But let me tell you something. If you really want to take the time to think about that, I am thankful. If you want to know how thankful you are for your shoes, take your socks and shoes off right now. And I want you to go outside and stand. No, I don't want you to just go outside and stand. There's a mud hole right down there. Oh, it's a pretty day. So it wouldn't bother you, would it? Take your socks and shoes off. And go stand in that mud hole. Just spend the rest of the day there, standing there. When you get hungry, eat some mud. When you get thirsty, drink some water. You see, there's plenty there. You want to know what? You'll start being appreciative for the shoes that we have. We had a Thanksgiving dinner yesterday. You know what I'm going to eat today? Leftovers. How many, y'all be honest with me? How many kids in this room get mad when somebody says leftovers? 1, 2, I've got an adult here. 3. Oh, hang on. How many adults in this room get mad when somebody says you have to do leftovers? Okay, let me tell you something. You want to know why you're offered leftovers? Because you had something to start with. Were you thankful for it then? Last night when we sat around and we said this prayer, were we thankful that there was a turkey on the table? Were we really thankful that beets were there? I think they look like a kidney. I don't know what they look like, but I think that's what they look like. Okay, hang on. But you want to know something? They're still in my refrigerator. Katie ate 2, and the other 74 are there. I'm not thankful for those.
You're talking about cranberries.
I thought that was. All right, I eat beets. All right, don't pay attention to it. Cranberry sauce. That's what it looks like that. Does anybody like cranberry sauce? Yeah. I don't want to get some. Hey, listen, I'm sorry. But what are you thankful for? Honestly, what are you thankful for? You know? I have a president that people don't like. We just had one that people didn't like. You know what I'm thankful for? That I have a president. You know what I'm thankful for? That a Tuesday in November, I got to go vote. And I'm thankful. I have a little boy that's 5,000 miles away. He hasn't been with his family for 3 years on any holidays. And I know that some of you men and possibly women in here have done the same thing, have gone and served the country. And I'm thankful. As the older I get, I'd like to say the easier it is, but it's not. Don't know why, and I'll finish with this. I've got a headache right now. My back hurts right now. Concentrate on those things and not the things that I should. I want to encourage you, if we do nothing else in this room today, I want you to think about the things you're thankful for. And if God is speaking to you today, be thankful for this moment and do something with it. You know what the difference between thanks and thanksgiving is? One of them you keep, one of them you give away. How many times are we thankful for something but we don't do anything with it? We don't say anything about it. We don't say, hey, Brent, thank you for always loving me. Thank you for wonderful moments. Miss Kay, thank you that you chased me around the room to kiss me every time you said it. I'm serious. I'm thankful for that.
You're welcome.
I'm thankful for new friends. I'm thankful for old friends. I'm thankful for a 13-year-old young man that will stand up and tell us what he's thankful for. I'm thankful for Blake. That he just simply loves enough, and he hasn't let the world infect him. That when somebody's crying, he runs to them. Thankful for that. I'm thankful that your family feels welcome here.
I'm thankful for Doug and Chester introducing me to this church. And I feel much, much better since I've been coming to this church.
Amen. I'm thankful that somebody can stand up at any given moment and say something like that in church and not be worried about, well, is this going to offend somebody?
Amen.
Miss Kay, we're thankful for you too.
Amen. And if you're not on her, chase you down, kiss you, dress, and see her right at the church.
Hey, I got a great,
We got
Brother Rodney,
Yes, ma'am.
this little boy right here brought everybody to their knees at Jean's funeral. He stood up there and he sang to Jean. I can only imagine. And he prayed with him. And it warmed my heart. He's a special baby boy.
Yes, she's beautiful. Perfect. Just like that. encourage you that maybe today's a little bit weird for you, and I hope it's good. Because I want this day to be about what we're thankful for. And I want you to leave here saying, man, I'm thankful I was there today. And if God is speaking to you, and maybe He's telling you, you need to get up and walk across the room and tell somebody that you're thankful for them. Or maybe you need to come here and just kneel and pray and thank God for something. Or maybe you need to give your heart to Jesus Christ. Whatever it is that you need to do today, be thankful for this opportunity. Because I'm going to promise you right now, not everybody in the world has this. We are so blessed. Would you pray with me? Father, we come to you on this different kind of day. And I come thankful. And ever since last night, we talked in the circle about things that we're thankful for. This has just been on my heart. Lord, there's so many things I'm thankful for. So many of these people in this room I've got such a beautiful history with, and I'm thankful for that history. I'm thankful for chapter 1 and however many chapters are in this room. I'm thankful for all of them, because they make up the book of my life. But I'm very thankful for that page in my life, that everything else falls short. And that's the day that you showed up. I'm so thankful that I'm your child. Lord, I'm thankful that no matter what happens to me, if I don't live another day, or if I live 100 years, I'll have no less days to sing your praise than when I first began. I'm grateful for you. And I'm grateful that Jesus saved me. And I'm grateful for a moment in time right now when people can stand up and say their thank. When people can come to an altar and bow in thanksgiving and genuinely give their thanks away to you. So Lord, now we come to this moment where it is about that. So I ask that you would just open our hearts, and whatever it is that you're speaking to us, that today would be that day that we simply do something.